Rimuru reincarnated into another world by Kischur. Upcoming presentation party. Alfred Pav. It has been a month since my baby doll has finished her appraisal. Since then, it has been quite hectic, because normally one's status can be kept secret, but not this time. Because of the uproar of baby doll acquiring not one but 3 blessings from the 12 divine deities, I was forced to reveal it to the public. Of course I asked baby doll's permission for this, so that she wouldn't hate me for it, but luckily enough, she understand me, so she allowed me to reveal it, but in exchange I needed to give her as much food as she wants. Ah, truly, baby doll is a glutton. Of course I wouldn't say that to her face, since she might become sad, but she is a glutton, a cute glutton at that. Well, I do blame Sarah for her gluttonous behavior, since she herself is a glutton. It is to the point that she would always worked out a ton, just to lose the weight she accumulated on the delicacies she has consumed. Well, I agreed to that, since knowing her, she would probably be able to figure out a way to fix her weight to the way she wants. And you might be wondering why I am so confident in this assessment. You wonder. It's because she a genius in the manipulation of mana. Even before she gained her status, she was able to manipulate mana to the point that it looked like second nature to her, to the point she could even substitute air for mana to breathe, so when I first saw that, I immediately know she would be a genius mage. But I didn't expect this. When I already know her mana levels should be off the charts for her age, but I didn't expect it to be in the triple digits and 700 at that. Seriously, her mana levels already surpassed that of a second-class mage, and with her talent in the arts of manipulating mana, with enough training, she could even beat first-class mages. But oh boy was I underestimated her. After just training for a day, she already reached the grand magic spells, where only grand casters can only wield and use, so right now she could potentially be a part of the sacred 20 mages, which is a group of individuals that can use grand magic spells. And of course she wasn't done yet. After completing her mage training, she then went for swordsmanship, which isn't weird, since mages nowadays would train their bodies as well, so that they can take a hit even without magic active. But again, after just a day, she was able to perform sword techniques in the Grand Saber techniques, so right now, she again could be a future member of the 50 Grand Sabers in the world, which is surprising. But I was sidetracked there for a bit, but let's get back to the status screen reveal. After baby doll's status was revealed, all hell broke loose. Because of her status was far too big for her age, which is true, since her status levels are already on par to a full-grown adult, and after seeing her gain 3 blessings, yeah, many things happened that gave me a headache, because of the amount of jobs I needed to do. Firstly, because of her status, many individuals have been calling baby doll as the new hero. Since it is a requirement for heroes to have 3 double digits at the age of 5 to qualify as a hero, but baby doll has 3 double digits and 2 triple digits, so she is being held as a hero. Because of that the church has been forcing me to give them my daughter to be a proper hero, but because of my position of king, and that the Tempest Kingdom has quite a lot of influence in the church, they couldn't influence us to give my daughter to them. But still, from what the Shadow Corps has said, many priests and nuns are just individuals that are affiliated or is working for the church, are seen going to the capital to see. Their reasoning is unknown, but because of the resent action of the church, I have ordered the Shadow Corps to keep an eye to these individuals, since if my hunch is correct, they would probably try to kidnap baby doll. Of course, I know why the church are doing this risky actions, since there was an accident 10 years ago that the church caused. It was the accident that would go down in history as the infamous sun flare incident. Since then the credibility of the church has been falling steadily, and because of that the trust of the people has also in steady in decline. Since then the church is trying their best to get the trust of the people back, and one of the easiest to do that is to raise a hero. A hero is a person that is said to bring stability or chaos to the world, by either saving and guarding the world, or changing the world to its very core, and by far the most common hero is the hero who brought stability, since it's the easiest thing to do. And of course the hero's job is also to bring down the demon race and its king-queen, but there hasn't been any hell gates has been spotted that can unleash an entire army of demons, so I wouldn't worry about those, since it takes considerable amount of time for a hell gate big enough to unleash armies to be spawned, so I wouldn't worry really. Then secondly, the 2 great kingdoms of Estage and Mesmori. The reason why the 2 kingdoms are a headache, is simple because they demand to hand over baby doll to them, since she held the blessings of goddess Amara and goddess Khalida, who which blessed the royal family of those 2 kingdoms respectively. In fact many other kingdoms are also planning something to baby doll, As of right now I have sent the Shadow Corps to the nearest kingdoms that is trying something. Of course the most probable is that those kingdoms would try to kidnap her because of her stats and blessings. Because of that and other smaller factors, my month is so busy right now. I'm just lucky that Sarah decided to have half of my work, so that I would finished faster. But on that note, thought from what I heard from the Shadow Corps, my children are also returning home to see baby doll. Alfred. It should be a good, for baby doll to have some interaction with her siblings. I just hope that silver doll, Fuka, isn't the first to meet her though. Yeah, Fuka is far too in love with baby doll. It is to the point of almost of an obsession, but the only reason why it isn't is because of baby doll herself controlling her, so that she wouldn't develop an obsession to the point of her being a yandere. I still remember the day that she declared her intentions of marrying baby doll. Fuka, Papa, Mama and everyone, especially Rimuru-chan. Fuka said while standing up from her seat. Currently the royal family is in the royal dining room, and a rare event is currently happening, from which all of the royal family members are currently present, which is rare, which the children are always outside of the castle, since they're busy on whatever they are doing. So currently all 15 children of Alfred and Sarah are currently in the castle, and so when they heard Fuka yelling to get everyone's attention, all of them looked at her confused and interested on whatever she is going to say. Fuka. I Fuka Arcadian Tempest, declare my intention on marrying Rimuru-chan. So Papa, Mama, I asked of your blessing. To marry Rimuru-chan. Quote. Hearing the confession and the desire to marry someone, and much less her own sister. It shocked the family. Of course, incestuous relationships aren't uncommon, since royalty and nobility would do it when they absolutely need to, or just the two family members truly loved each other. But what is not common though, are lesbian relationships, and again, like the incestuous relationships, lesbian relationships aren't impossible to come by. In fact, there was even a whole set of magic, called lesbian magic, so that the lesbian can either make a penis and make a child, or even turn someone into a girl, or just make the wife carry a baby after their lesbian sex. In fact, lesbian magic is more often used in kingdoms like Artemina, which is a kingdom that is solely run by females, and is only lesbian and not even straight or bisexual. So the family then turned to the subject of the confession, to see her reaction, and just like they thought, Rimuru was completely frozen and shocked, because of the sudden confession, making her missed all of the cursed language of Seal, who was cursing at the girl that confessed to her master. Seal. I need to hurry up, and complete the body that would charm master. So that I wouldn't be beaten by this wrench. Seal thought to herself, and because of Rimuru's shocked state, she didn't heard what Seal said. It was truly a mess. Since then, baby doll has been creeped out by her sister's antics, which no one would blame her. Of course, baby doll still loved her sister, it just she never expressed them to her, since she knows that Fuka would undoubtedly strengthen her pursuit. So I truly wished you luck baby doll on that front. But still, it seems the dreaded day is about to come, my baby doll's presentation party in a month's time. Third-person view. Backyard. Currently we see Rimuru in her training outfit, which is just a black sports bra and sports shorts with leggings on top of her sports shorts. Rimuru. I need to strengthen my body with training to add more to my strength stats, and then go to mediate and magic training to improve my magic stats. Seal. I give you permission to tamper with my body, as long as I get stronger, alright. Single quote. Seal. Yes, master. I shall maximize the power you get from your training, so that you would reach higher forms of power. Hearing her eternal partner's words, Rimuru smirked and then started her training, which isn't much to her standard, but for everyone else it is completely absurd for her age. With that, Rimuru started in her daily training, which is exercise, which is a run to run at full speed for an hour, a 1000 push-ups, sit-ups and squats, and after a minute-long break, she would repeat the cycle for another 2x. Of course, while doing this, Rimuru's body was destroying itself because of the physical strain that the training is giving to Rimuru, and the only reason why Rimuru is fine is because of healing magic constantly healing his body. And with Seal, who was manipulating Rimuru's body, to make it more powerful than it normally should have been, by manipulating the cells of the body and completely manipulating on where the cells would go, and with the use of magic, Seal was able to completely enhance those cells, which gave Rimuru a partial power boost, which of course the more he received the partial power boost, the more significantly stronger he becomes in the future. Which Rimuru herself is patient enough to wait for. But Rimuru herself isn't the only one in the backyard, since 4 people were looking at Rimuru's figure, with 3 of them looking at her with concern in their eyes, and this was her older siblings and her personal maid. The eldest of the children of Alfred and Sarah is named Kevin Arcadia Tempest, which is a 17-year-old handsome man with white hair and blue azure eyes. The second is Ava Arcadia Tempest, Rimuru's and Fuka's older sister, with her being 16-year-old beautiful woman with long light blue hair and blue eyes. The third is Shizuki, the personal elf maid of Rimuru, with her being 20 years old woman with brown hair and amber eyes. Just imagine her to have elf ears. Fuka. Is Rimuru-chan safe on doing this? Fuka worriedly asked no one in particular. Kevin. Rimuru is constantly healing herself with her magic, with inhumane precision, so I think she would be fine. But if not, we need to deliver her to the healing waters to heal her. Hearing the words of her eldest brother, Fuka sighed in relief, with her continued on watching Rimuru to see if she would okay in the end. Ava. Kevin's right. In terms of precision, Rimuru-chan is by far one of the greatest at it, so it's no wonder she is a potential candidate for the Grand Caster. And if Rimuru-chan wants to become a part of them, then she needs to increase her magic levels, to be a part of them, since in terms of technique and skills, then she is already a part of the Grand Casters, Ava thought while silently giving her review of her baby sister's progress. Shizuki. Ah, Rimuru-sama, you are as perfect and beautiful as ever. Shizuki fangirl in her mind, while still keeping her stoic expression, while silently looking at the sweating figure of her beloved master. After 2 hours of non-stop training, Rimuru finally stopped and then sat down on the floor, with her not even looking tired, and when he was about to train in magic she was stopped by her maid. Shizuki. Master. I think you should eat first before your resume your training, since it's past noon now. To this Rimuru looked up at the sun and saw it just past its highest peak, making her sigh. Rimuru. Very well, I shall eat here, since I still have something to think about. Rimuru ordered Shizuki, while looking around the backyard and saw her siblings has went inside to either eat, bath, rest or just train by themselves. Shizuki. Very well master, so please wait here for a second. With that Shizuki bowed down and then left to get her food. When Rimuru was alone, she then made a green magic circle appeared below her, making a small tornado round her, with it taking away her sweat away. Rimuru. Seal, there was a reincarnation in this world isn't there? Single quote. Seal. Yes. Multiple reincarnated entities has entered this world. What should we do? Rimuru thought about it for a moment, but after a few seconds, she then answered, we would leave them be, but if they try to do anything harmful to this world, I would be eliminate the perpetrator. Seal. If that is master's orders, then I shall not do anything. With that Rimuru then looked around him and then saw a table and a chair, and with that she then sat upon the chair with her creating a barrier that would deflect the harmful rays of the sun. Hey, baby doll. Hearing the familiar name call, I looked at the entrance and saw father, with Shizuki following behind him with a tray of food and drinks. Rimuru. Oh, Papa, why are you here? Don't you have king's duty? While saying this, Alfred just laughed wholeheartedly, while Shizuki silently placed the tray to the table and then quietly placed the contents on the table. After she was done she took the tray and then went besides Rimuru for further orders from her. Alfred. Ha 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 ha. Well, what I am doing is also a king's duty. To this Rimuru slowly nodded, confused on what her father would ask her. Alfred. Well, anyways, I need to discuss to you about your presentation party. When Alfred said those words, Rimuru who was silently eating, quickly stopped, and from her expression alone, both Alfred and Shizuki already know she would hate it. Rimuru. Sigh why? You already know I hate social parties, that's the reason why I never came to one of the social parties hosted by nobles. My siblings or you Papa and Mama. When they heard her complaining, they only listened, since this is the only thing she complained about. Of course, because of her dislike about social parties, a part of the nobility in the kingdom are starting a rumor of the princess not being good at etiquette, and since no one has ever seen her outside of the castle, there was also a rumor that the princess was unbelievably ugly. Of course the rumor about her ugliness was quickly shot down, when they heard she gained the blessing of the goddess of love and beauty Amara, since the only way for one to gain her blessing, is for the blessed person to be beautiful themselves, and truthfully speaking her blessing, doesn't make the person more beautiful, what it does is to make the blessed person reach their peak beautiful far more easily. With the only exception being Rimuru's own blessing, that truly enhanced one's beauty, and then add the fact that Seal, who is omniscient at this point in time, knows of all the most beautiful beings of this world, and came to the conclusion of Rimuru was still the most beautiful handsome being in all of creation. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't want her master to be even more beautiful handsome, but she couldn't truly enhance her master's beauty anymore, since master is genderless, so she encompass both genders, and since handsomeness and beauty if mix, can't truly reach their full potential, since in terms of beauty, Seal thought that the only way to reach the highest form of handsomeness and beauty, Rimuru must choose a gender. So when Rimuru wanted to be reincarnated into another world, she quickly took advantage and transformed Rimuru into a female to reach the highest form of beauty, and with her master being a female now, she could easily do it, by manipulating her cells and genes to make the most beautiful girl in all of creation past, present and the distant future, and with the blessings of Amara enhancing Rimuru's own beauty, it truly became one of the easiest job in her life. As for her lack of etiquette, that was just a rumor, since the royal family and every servant that works at the castle, know that was just false, since in terms of etiquette, she is by far the best in the whole family, since despite being 5 years old, the way she carried herself was like that of a ruler of a powerful nation for a long time. Alfred, now that I think about it, why do you hate social gatherings? Alfred was curious on why his youngest hated the idea of going to social gatherings. Rimuru, I already know what would happen. I would be the center of attention, with every noble going to try to gain my favor of being a royal, with boys of my age of a little older would try to court me by trying to make me fall in love with them, and as for the girls, they would most likely hate and be jealous of me, because of my appearance. While saying this, Rimuru drank her tea, that Shizuki prepared for her. After hearing Rimuru's response why she hates social gatherings, yeah, they started to accept her answer, since they can easily see it happening, since despite being 5 years old, it is quite evident that in her later years, she would be an unparalleled beauty that anyone would want. Which made the two be pissed off. Alfred. Ha. Like hell. I would let such boys go to my baby doll. Alfred furiously thought, while thinking of how to kill such boys. Shizuki. Ha. Like Rimuru-sama would choose such low life. Only gods would be worthy of her. Shizuki thought while silently smiling, but her smile didn't reach her eyes, with her eyes being dark like it was the very void itself. Rimuru. Sigh, but since in the future I would be attending the Royal Amadeus Academy, it would be better for me to show myself in the presentation party, this time only. With that declaration, the two was tempting in persuading her to not attend it. With that, the princess would be attending the next presentation party in a month's time. Rimuru. Well, I do have a condition though. Hearing her words, Alfred looked at his daughter curiously, since if she has a condition, then it would be quite easy to fulfill. Alfred. Sure, what is it? With that Rimuru sighed and then answered. Rimuru. First, I don't want to wear a dress, since I hate it, so I would be wearing a military uniform if you will. Second, I would be bringing my sword. Third, I want Fuka Onisama to join me in this presentation party. Alfred. Okay, all of the conditions are acceptable. The first condition can be easily achieved if I ordered one, and in a month's time, that is easy for the best in the country. The second condition is quite problematic, since weapons aren't allowed in the presentation party, but if it's a princess protection, then it should be plausible, since there's a rumor of baby doll is being targeted by two great kingdoms Estage and Mesmori and the church, but still though, why doesn't baby doll want to kill them? Ah, she truly is an angel, for even giving mercy to such people. But for the third, why bring Fuka-chan? Since with Fuka-chan's forward confession to her, she has been trying to avoid her, so why now? While Alfred was thinking about the conditions, Rimuru was also thinking. Rimuru. With the presentation party being announced on who would participate. All of my kidnappers would definitely go to the presentation party to kidnap me. And with all of them there, I can kill all of them in one fell swoop. That was the reason for the two conditions. Since with a dress her movements would be somewhat restricted. So she wouldn't be able to move in her less powerful state, and that she would just dirty the whole dress altogether, and with her having a sword in hand, she can kill all of those kidnappers in a faster way than in magic and hand-to-hand combat, and that she really wants to fight with a sword again after hundreds of years of not fighting, and with her reaching unparalleled levels in all forms of combat, especially in swordsmanship, it would only be a pity not to use it. Alfred. Alright, all three can easily be done, but why bring in Fuka-chan? Quote. Rimuru. Fuka Onisama is very protective of me, and she would do something about those that looked at me funny, and would defend and cover for me in such situations. Hearing this, Alfred just agreed. Fuka Arcadia Tempest is very overprotective of Rimuru, so she would definitely defend her if boys and girls looked at her funny, so right now she is definitely her strongest defense in this world in regards of the same and opposite sex.